Hi, this is Linda Logel Hemby. Last week I read to you from my book Willard Manor, which was the first one in my series of nonfiction. Today I want to read the second book. It's called Leaving Mark, and as all my books are connected in one way or another, this one is connected to Willard Manor. If you recall, in Willard Manor, a young couple, Shelley and Tony, built by Willard Manor after the last member of the Willard family has deceased. And they're renovating it. While they're renovating it, they stay with her parents, Mark and Shirley Fortier. This is Mark's story from when he was a little boy. This is starting with chapter 6. Mabel made lunch for the children, put Patty and Joey down for their naps, and cleaned up the kitchen. She'd earned a few minutes for herself, so she sat at the piano and let her fingers softly caress the keys as the lovely music washed over her. 9-year-old Mark slid in next to her. He looked at his mother, they grinned at each other, and in no time were dueling it out on chopsticks, with Mark playing the high notes and Mabel playing the low ones. Mabel was teaching Mark to play the piano and was pleased at how much he enjoyed it. Peter and Jack were outside playing one-on-one basketball, and Davy was on the floor playing something, only he knew what, with Lincoln Logs. The doorbell rang. "Mark, go see who's at the door, please." Mark opened the front door and saw 2 people standing on the porch. "Mom, someone's here." Mabel walked toward the door, her smile turning a questioning look as she saw a man in a suit and a female police officer standing there. "Mrs. Fortier?" "Yes." "I'm Detective Duncan with the New Haven Police Department." He produced his badge for her to see. "This is Officer Peters." Officer Peters showed her badge and nodded. "The police? Is something wrong?" "I'm afraid so. Can we come in for a moment?" Mabel showed them into the living room where they sat in straight-back chairs. Mabel and Mark sat on the edge of the sofa. The detective's gaze fell on a recent family photo of Lynn and Mabel and their 6 children. "That's a nice photo," he said. Then he looked at the floor, cleared his throat, and looked up at Mabel, who was quietly waiting for him to state his reason for being there. "Can I get you some water?" she asked. "No, I have some bad news for you, Mrs. Fortier. There was a shooting at the New Haven Green today." Mabel's hand flew to her mouth and her eyes burned into his with unspoken questions. "A gunman started shooting randomly and shot 3 people before he turned the gun on himself. I'm sorry to tell you that Mr. Fortier was one of the people he shot." "Is he all right, officer? Where is he? Can I go see him?" "I'm afraid not, Mrs. Fortier. He and the 3 others died at the scene." "No, not Len, not my Len." Mabel grabbed Mark's arm and held tight, burying her face in his hair, her tears wetting his head. She calmed down enough to say, "Mark, go get your brothers and bring them here." Mark continued to sit by his mother. "Mark, I said go get your brothers." Mark looked at his mother through blurry eyes. "You've still got my arm, Mom." Mabel released her grip and Mark left the room in a daze. He came back with a very subdued Peter, Davy, and Jack in tow. The boys stood around their mother, facing her. Mark was near tears, thinking about his last words to his dad that morning. "Get out of here. You're too old to understand my kind of music. Just leave." Detective Duncan and Officer Peters kept their eyes on the floor, not wanting to interrupt his family's sorrow. Mabel reached out to her sons in a long group hug. Each time she started to let go, she hugged them even tighter. Eventually, she was able to let go and talk to them. "Boys," she said, her voice trembling, "something has happened and I want you to hear it from me. Your daddy and some other people were shot today by a very bad man. Daddy," she paused to get her breath, "won't be coming home." She wiped the tears from her eyes. "He's on his way to heaven now." The boys looked at their mother while questions tumbled over themselves as they tried to process this information. Jack finally spoke. "But Mom, Dad was going to referee my ball game today." "I know, honey, but there won't be a ball game today." And to find out what happens, you'll just have to get the book and read the rest for yourself. Thank you, and I hope you have a good week.